go. Here's what we got to remember. I mean, for all of you that are ICMs in Renatus, you'll know what this means. That means we've only got 4 days left. I would encourage you to go into the back office and get that taken care of because we don't want to leave anybody behind. That's for darn sure. The next thing is this. We've got a national ATM training that is taking place. Richard Stock, one of our top income earners, an absolute stellar individual and a fantastic trainer, is going to be conducting this. You can get a lot more information by just simply going to the QR code that's on your screen or to the link that is on your screen so that you can get registered for this upcoming ATM training. Now, this ATM training doesn't just take place, in a weekend. It doesn't take place, over the course of a few days. It's actually an every Friday deal starting starting January 31st, and then moving forward to February 7th, 14th, 21st, and then finishing up February 28th. And we're going to do the graduation celebration for this ATM training at the Renatus National Conference. So get yourself registered, man. We want to help you to take your business to the next level, and this is a perfect opportunity for you to do that. Now, with that in mind, the National Conference. Jay mentioned it when he's starting things out, but I'm here to tell you, this is going to be such an incredible event, such an epic event. March 20th through the 22nd, it's at the Davis Conference Center in Layton, Utah. And the ICM ticket price, the regular price is $447, but there's an early bird discount. If you get in and you get your ticket before February 22nd, it's only $397. Now, here's something we haven't done before, and that is this: allowed guests to attend. This has generally just been for the community of Renatus, our family members. But we're going to extend the opportunity for guests to come and check it out, to get 3 powerful days of education and information. And they even get the awards banquet for $95. Now, if somebody says, you know what, I don't like to travel and eat at the same time. If that's what they're saying, then here's the good news. Then they don't have to. They can actually just get a basic guest ticket. It'll get them in the door. It'll get them a journal and a pen and a T-shirt, and we will welcome them into this powerful 3-day event, but they will not be coming to the awards banquet. That's only $30, $30.
Can I make a quick comment to that?
Yes, you can.
It came to our attention earlier today that if you go to share the event, that page that is created, it actually indicates the wrong price on there. It says the price is a little bit more than what it is. And the reason why is it's actually totaling a couple of the numbers together. So these numbers that Bob has just shared, these you can take to the bank. And when you go to register, these are the numbers that are used to calculate your ticket price. And the one thing that you didn't talk about is that they can actually select their seats.
Oh, I did not mention that, which is the reason why it creates urgency for individuals to be getting registered. Why? Because first come, first serve. You want a seat up front. You want to be able to hang, with the folks that are right there next to the stage and with the other leaders. This is your opportunity. You got to get your ticket before the rest of the group does, because there will be some folks that wait until the last minute and they'll be hanging at the back. But those of you who are proactive will be sitting with us in the front. So I would encourage you to do just that. And here's another thing you've got to remember, and that is tickets have got to be purchased by March 10th to include the T-shirt and the banquet. Now, that doesn't mean that individuals can't register even right up until the day. We'll even take walk-ups at the National Conference. But here's what it means. They won't get a T-shirt. Why? Because we need time to order those things. And they won't be able to get into the banquet because we've got to give our banquet order numbers to the Davis Conference Center, and that's the date that they have told us that they got to have our final counts in. So don't delay. Get yourself registered today. We can't wait to see you there, because this event is going to be very different than what we've done in the past. On my screen and yours, you'll be able to see all of our incredible instructors and trainers for this 3 full-day event. We're calling it the E3 Summit. The reason why? Well, because E3, that means day 1, we're going to educate you. Day 2, we're going to equip you. And day 3, we're going to teach you all how to go out there and engage. We've got 23 amazing instructors, practitioners in their own right, all the way from our real estate investing instructors like Mr. Brian Sump and Chris Albin. I mean, to phenomenal individuals who are also instructors and teach us about seller finance notes, Jeff Armstrong, or, on the credit side, as well as automation, Mr. Eric Counts. It's going to be amazing. We're going to introduce you to a few new instructors with their content. never before seen, never before heard. We're also going to enlighten you and educate you about new programs that we're rolling out, some modifications and enhancements we're making to our opportunity to help improve the business for you so that, well, while you are getting educated on how to conduct yourself and make money in real estate, we're going to show you how to accelerate the pace on earning income with other opportunities as well. So all of that is going to be explained at the national conference. When we talk about real estate, we're going to dive deep on those subjects, especially on the first day. But when we get into day 2, we're going to help individuals understand why this opportunity in Renatus is so powerful and why they would want to be involved with it. By the time we get to day 3, it's all about teaching you how to engage what you've learned from day 1 and day 2 so that you can go out there and conquer the world in a big way. And then we've got a couple of guest speakers. Oh my goodness, man. I still am kind of blown away that we pulled this one off. We have not one, but 2 keynote speakers on Saturday. These are world-class presenters and speakers who have done this all over the world. As a matter of fact, Jeff Griffin is an all-star in his own right, an Olympic athlete, as well as, how was it? He was the NBA most valuable player.
Yeah, he was
for Paralympics.
The Paralympic NBA
Paralympic, yes.
most valuable player twice.
His story will blow your mind. You will come out of the conference, invigorated and charged to move forward and realizing that whatever challenges or obstacles you've got in front of you pale by comparison to what this individual has overcome. And then we've got a great friend of ours, Mr. Daine Clark, that will be also addressing the group. Daine Clark is a Hall of Fame speaker for the National Association of Speakers. He has spoken around the world. This individual has been, in front of the troops in Afghanistan and Iraq, to being able to go into space. He has flown jets off aircraft carriers as a part of all of his speaking opportunities. I just can't say enough about him. Anybody who understands the power of his message will not miss the national conference. You don't want to either. I could go on and on about each of our speakers. You can, get a look at them and see them for yourself. Top income earners, top real estate investors, top professionals in their own field. We're going to teach you about tax and legal. We're going to teach you about marketing and driving revenue and income while you're doing real estate. Wow. It's going to be the best ever. Don't miss it. Get yourself registered right now. Get it taken care of. All right. Now here's another thing. Yeah, as we kind of go along, man, I'm just going to show you a few little slides here of past national conferences because I want to just, drop on this one, our awards banquets. Our awards banquets are absolutely epic, and it truly is where the business goes from the head to the heart. When you're able to celebrate the success of so many individuals that have gone before you and to see what it is that we're recognizing them for, man, recognition's a powerful motivator. It really is. Babies cry for it and grown men die for it. That's just the way that it's always been. And then, of course, as we continue to help you get equipped, we're going to bring out the best of the best. Mr. Jay Stark is going to be training and teaching. Mr. Matt Snyder, myself, Woody Woodward on that Friday session. And then we're going to get into Saturday with our top income earners and so many of the PAC members to help you get engaged. Anyway, just as a reminder, here it is again. Early bird discount, $397. That goes away after February 22nd. You want to get yourself in there, and you want to be able to invite as many guests as you can get to say yes. Don't take excuses. Tell them this is 3 days of powerful content. It will be transformative, instructive, and will help them to really take 2025 to a whole new level.
GM, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah, you heard him. It's a transformative year. Things contract and expand, right? It's just the nature of planet Earth. Before every expansion comes a contraction. And this is the year of expansion. So I like to see that. We got 446 views on this so far. So that's great. Send it out to more people and then let Bob, pitch the nationals for you through this amazing video. So we got some great assets there for you. And also excited about ATM coming up. Renatus.me ATM. Yeah, not this.me/ATM. 97 bucks. Why it says that? It's funny. I watched you change it. Okay. Go to the Helios back office. Sure. Anyway, welcome to Wealth Wednesday, folks. If you missed the Invest Edge with Daine Clark, that was powerful. He showed extreme passive income while problem solving, maintaining relationships. And that's something I love about it. Any around real estate or people. It's a win-win. So many benefits. Love it. So he has this video here for you to use, and then also up here in the chat, I'll grab this link and drop it in the chat for you. Good morning, folks. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Wealth Wednesday. So every week is like a mini intensive now, using the Renatus Invest Edge. And those of you who watched it, you know what I'm talking about. But Daine went through some amazing problem-solving scenarios, some cash flow deals, and how to reduce your risk, increase your profits, and why Renatus, why now. So there's the link in the chat for you. And I've seen a lot of renewals for the ICM come in, so good job there. You have till Friday. Friday is the last day to get your ICM renewal done, taken care of, so that you can move forward into 2025 with your commissions, your overrides, your teams. Now, one thing I'd like to point out too, when you come into the calendar, you're looking for something specific. If you don't see it, you might need to click the clear filters button and just wipe it all out. So anyway, busy month. Busy month. So to register for nationals, you just scoot yourself on over to March. And you'll see it right here, the Renatus Conference. Get yourself a ticket. And in case you were wondering, if you use this share link here, you copy this URL and share this link so that you can, promote it in other ways. It combines the guest price and your price in the line item of pricing, but not when you go to checkout. So everyone's like, why is it $30 more? Well, because it's taking all of them and combining them. Just a minor display error, but when you go to purchase it, it'll be correct. Okay, so there's that. GM, good morning. Sweet. Also, subscribe to the Renatus channel. There's a lot of great stuff coming down. Think about this, we're going to do an Invest Edge every week, except maybe if, Christmas is on a Monday or something like that. But you come to the Renatus channel, subscribe, 337 videos. We're gonna be way more subscribers than that. Anyway, excited about what corporate's working on behind the scenes, and yeah, 25. So here's the pricing, so everyone's clear, and I want to make sure that get this in before March 10th. Well, get it in before the 22nd. Save yourself $50, of course. But then to be included in the banquet, be included in the extra festivities that come along with that, we do need to have your ticket purchased before then, for the 10th, so that we can organize and have everything ready for you. I'm not in charge of the hotel. They want a 10-day heads up. So get your ticket. Now, how many of you are running ads in Utah? I know not everybody on here lives in Utah, but think about the return on investment to run some ads in Utah and get some butts and seats to this event. Right? Taking out ads on different websites, different platforms, going into different, simply even going to different Facebook real estate and entrepreneur groups that are based out of Utah and posting this event and encouraging people to come. $30? In my estimation, workshops like this are $2,500. To have a lineup of people like this, oh, that's extra zoomed in there. To have a lineup of people like this, when you combine all these people, how much real estate they've done, how many deals they've done, we're into tens of thousands of deals, and probably $1 billion income between all these people. That's a lot of success. So I think you guys will get a high return on investment by running some ads and getting it so that your customer can join for $30. And of course, you want them to come to the banquet, awards ceremony, the dinner, and so it's $95. That's a break-even thing. This is something that's unique about our company. Bob is not, nickel and diamond people all along the way. He's really just making it pay for itself. Just cover the cost so everyone can attend, and the benefits will come from that. Some of you are looking for more real estate support, more partners, more deals, more money. You will find that at Nationals. Quite often the following summer, right after Nationals, I'll hear people say, hey, I just bought this apartment building. We just did this fix and flip. And it's because I met somebody at Nationals that we were able to do that. I had the contract, they had the money, or I had the lead and they had some negotiation skills, and we put it together and made the deal happen. It's magic. Not really magic. It's equational. It'll happen. So anyway, put it high priority on your list to be a Nationals. Now let me just see that real quick. Any questions about Nationals?
Anthony just asked one.
Oh, let me check.
Hey, Michael.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good day. I was just curious, what happens if somebody, he's on the process, he buys the guest ticket, and between then you manage to actually get him to buy the education and become an ICM? Does he have to pay the difference in the price from the 95 to the ICM price?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, the right order sequence. Yeah, I don't think we would go back and charge him more. We'd just say welcome to the team.
Yeah. Okay.
It's called grandfather in.
Grandfather him in, baby. Are you running ads in Utah?
I'm gonna.
Good. You too.
It makes sense.
Yeah, right now I'm reaching out to targeting title companies because I know that these escrow agents, these title officers, they watch the transactions happen. They see people make boatloads of money every day, and but they don't know how it's done. Um, they know the mechanisms for transferring ownership and cutting checks, but other than that, they don't know how to do these deals, or they'd be doing the deals, right? So that's my target this week is all the title companies. Title companies.
Okay. Can you click back to the slide with all the people? Slide 5. Who's that next to Richard Stock with the beard? My picture's not clear.
That's Jason Andrus. Yeah, that is
Okay.
not a clear picture at all.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, this is
Just another curious question. On the average earnings compensation plan statement that we do annually, does the test drive results, will they appear in that?
they better. I think for compliance sake, they'll have to.
Look, the positive to that is it means that we have a lot of, I think the figures are like 86% of ICMs don't make money in the first year because it takes them time to get going, obviously. With the test drive being such a low point of entry, that number should dramatically change. And it's an easy sell.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's going to definitely boost the numbers and, big side benefit there.
Yeah.
All right, here is a clearer picture of this. Right here. Does that look better?
Yeah, that's better.
By the
Nancy
way,
Rowe way on the left.
yep.
Isn't
Nancy
that Jason Andrews next to her?
Oh, that is Jason Andrus. Holy moly. So who the heck is that? That's so funny, dude.
I'm asking.
Because Jason Andrus doesn't have hair. Who is that human?
Surprise guest.
Oh, I know who it is now. No, because that's Daine Clark back there. Who is that person? Dude, that is just too freaking silly.
I think that's the new keynote speaker that Bob mentioned in this video earlier. And he said his name, but I didn't catch it.
No, that's this tall man in the back here. The guy that went to space.
Oh, okay, I see.
That's Daine Clark. And then we got Jeff Griffith, who came to our Utah regionals and did a bunch of cool stuff. Got Patrick Munson, got Bob Bloom. There's this weirdo from Chicago. What's his name again? No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
I think that's Scooty.
Some scooter
Scooty
Sasquatch.
Riley.
I know who this is. This has got to be Dan Cragen. Because we are updating the bankruptcy class.
Maybe Dane knows. I just admitted him.
Yeah, I think this is our new bankruptcy instructor. Bankruptcy is a huge lead gen source because people have real estate deals that are biting them in the butt, and you can go and be a win-win situation. So that's who it is. I just pulled up the schedule. Dan Cragen, the bankruptcy instructor. All right. So with that being said,
All right, mystery solved.
yeah, that's what we do around here. We solve mysteries. And yeah, It's going to be an amazing workshop, guys. Amazing. So get your tickets now. Remember, it's assigned seating, so the sooner you get your ticket, the better your seat will be. Okay, now let us jump into the next portion of the day. So welcome everyone to Wealth Wednesday. Happy you're all here. It just keeps getting better, guys. 2025, the year of expansion. And you got to keep your eyes on the prize, know where you're going. Don't listen to the distractions. Right. We are the curators of our own future. So, if you have a source of negativity, cut it out. Also, do your push-ups and drink your smoothies every morning. Because part of your success is on how you can think. Get that oxygen in your brain, get some vitamins. Do your push-ups, have a smoothie, call your customers. Formula for success. Speaking of formula for success, someone who has followed that to a T and then expanded it, took it to a whole nother level, and has helped 1,000 people be involved in a profitable real estate deal is our trainer for the day, Mr. Daine Clark. He's been a part of our organization for 9 years. He had not done a single deal before joining this program and has embraced not only the education, but the culture of what Renatus means, and has completely expanded his life, his parents, his kids, his siblings, everyone around him. He focuses on helping them benefit. He provides clarity where things are fuzzy. He has a great sense of humor, and whatever the obstacle, you're dealing with a stubborn title person or a banker or a seller or whoever, the guy always approaches it with a positive attitude, which is another reason why I think he's so successful. And we're really grateful to have him here today. So please give a big warm welcome to the man of the hour, Mr. Daine Clark. Good morning.
Oh, Michael, you're making me blush.
Well,
Happy Wealth Wednesday, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yes. So what's cooking?
Well, we missed you last Wednesday, and we talked
sorry about that.
how, we're in a new America, and so much has changed, and we kind of want to get your take on the last couple of days, and then what you're looking forward to in 2025. So
so it's actually cool because all of a sudden I'm getting tons of people like, Daine, like it's almost like every other conversation I have, people are like, holy cow, like all of a sudden, like now I can do what I couldn't do, or like for example, last night I was talking to a gentleman that he just lives up the canyon a little bit from me, and we go into the whole like every goal is achieved through usually a conversation, and how many conversations you have, and every goal like usually one person away. But long story short, he has got a sweet, sick, nasty built snow bike that dang near has a turbo basically, and is going to have to sell it because Trump's in office, and it's not for what I thought. He's like, yeah, like when he's a business owner, and he's like, when we were building our business, and all of a sudden the previous administration took over, he was like, dude, we were dead in the water. His company does hunting manufacturing, like hunting products manufacturing. And he was like, dude, we were dead in the water. We could not get through the communication channel, whatever. And he's like, but all of a sudden, within the last few days, even, everything is opening up. And so he's like, I've got like 4 years worth of work stacked up that I'm gonna have. Like he's like, I'm gonna be busy with my head down for probably the next 2 years. And he's like, and I built this snow bike thing. That's the reason why we were talking. But he's like, yeah, I built this snow bike, and it's gonna sit for 2 years most likely because I'm dead focused. I'm gonna get this done, and we're gonna get this thing going. He's like, what? And when the business is going again, I'm gonna go ahead and get me a new snow bike, whatever. And he's like, I'll build it again. And so, sorry, I got a text. my assistant real fast. We're trying to close a deal today, and we were missing one item of info. Cool, she's got it. Anyway, so he's like, things are opening up. So again, like back to like what's happening right now. Like I'm just trying to buy a snow bike, and this is coming up in conversation that people are like, oh my goodness, things are picking up. The wave has begun. Get your surfboard and start paddling to be riding with the wave. Had another conversation with a gal on Monday, and same thing. She's a loan officer, and she's like, Daine, I don't know what it is, but all of a sudden, like rates are coming down. People are flooding into my office, to my inbox. Like things are happening. People are back to work. People are back in it to win it. Mindsets. Oh, it is going to be a great several years, but 2025, like get a paddling on your surfboard. If you don't have a surfboard, get a surfboard. If you're already on a surfboard, start paddling and catch this wave.
Seriously.
And
So it's like, hey, if you don't double your business this year at whatever level you're at, you're doing something wrong. Is that safe to say?
oh yeah. Yep, because it will be I know we're told not to say the word easy, but it'll be easier than it has been. Let's put it that way. Like I remember before when before let's call it pandemic, I remember that things were flowing. Like you could just get stuff done, and then all of a sudden things got harder. All of a sudden, like you had to fight. You had to fight for the next deal, or you had to fight for the funding, or you had to fight for the manpower. You had to, whatever. You had to fight for the materials. You had to, the supply chains. But I think a lot of those things are going to really, really pick up. And sure, like there will probably be industries or categories, if you will, that might get worse before they get better. But it'll be just that, where things are getting fixed. They might get a little bit worse, but then they will get way, way better. And so yeah, I'm trying to think of other conversations that I've been having with people where they're just like, yeah, all of a sudden, car dealership that's really small town. I think I've talked about this guy before on this call. Another one of my neighbors, but he's like, yeah, like he's like, I used to be able to easily keep 10 cars, 10, or he sells trucks, 10 trucks on my lot at all times. And he's like, I can't buy them fast enough now. Like people are just coming and saying, yep, I want it, get it, ready to go. And he's selling out his entire lot way faster than he has over the last several years. And so, even that industry is going bonkers. Let's see, who else have I been talking to? We talked about the car industry. We talked about auto sales, banking, realtors. We talked about loan officers, realtors. Even realtors are coming to me and saying like, yeah, Daine, like all of a sudden I had like 15 listings, right? And it's interesting because even I've been experiencing this. As a hard money lender, I usually have X amount of listings of houses I'm lending on that are listed waiting to sell. And through the winter, it's typically more. Typically, it's customary that houses sit longer through the winter. This last one was the worst one I've ever seen in the last 9 years, that houses were sitting more. But now all of a sudden, I mean, I'm left and right. I'm getting people like, hey, we're selling it. Hey, we're selling it. Hey, we're under contract. Like I even had a house myself that I had listed, I think 4 months ago, and it just sat and sat and sat. And then all of a sudden, somebody made an offer and said, we'll take it. And we're closing next week. And it's funny because I actually had a realtor. It was a house I was lending on, and it went under contract. and they like last minute they just like backed out, gone, like literally. And this was like 2 weeks ago, I think it was. Like literally their realtor, the seller's, or sorry, the buyer's realtor, like not even our side, the person who was representing my buyer, that was his contact. He was like, yeah, I don't know. He's just like gone. And then I think it was well, yeah, it was this week actually. Monday, they come back and say, hey, now that everything has settled, can we still close on the house, even though technically like they lost their earnest money? We canceled the contract because obviously they were gone. And so inherently we canceled the contract. But they came back and said, hey, now that everything is settled and everything's moving, can we still close on the house? And we're just like, I guess so. And so I think we're getting paid on that one tomorrow. And so uh, anyway, I can tell more stories, but things are picking up. And so get your game face on, I think would be the best way to say that, because it's coming. Start wherever you are, start twice as hard as you were. Twice as hard as you were working, twice as hard as you were thinking. I'm convinced that this life is literally nothing more than our thoughts. And there's ample evidence of that very thing, that this life is literally no more than our thoughts. And so clean up the thoughts. If that's, wherever you are, start working double in the direction that you want to go. Twice as hard. Think twice as hard. Think, watch your thoughts twice as watchful, if that's where you are. If you're in the zone where it's just like, hey, I know what I'm doing, I just need to talk to more people, talk to twice as many people, whatever it is, because like I said, there will be way more yeses over this next year than I think we've seen in the last handful of years. People are going. It is go time.
Yeah, do not waste this momentum. Don't sit and wait for a million other people to tell you it's safe to start acting in a different way. Like, this is the wave. Who knows what's going to happen after 2 years, what's going to happen after 4 years. But we're clear right now for the next 24 months. It's game on. The kind of people who are in charge of the SEC, the FTC, the Fed chairman, which, by the way, they're having a meeting in like 4 hours about whether they're going to raise rates or not, or lower rates. I mean, like,
they actually just come down, which again, I don't know where it's going to go again, but this week, like there's a house I'm working on right now, and my lender's like, yeah, like I thought we are going to lock you in at this rate, but it's actually going to be this. And so they already started coming down.
So if you find yourself making an excuse about why it's going to be hard, knock it off. I think Bob Newhart said it best on that Mad TV episode. Stop it.
I love that.
Should I take notes? No, I think you can remember it. It's just 2 words.
And I don't make change.
So anyway, upgrade your vision board, upgrade your plans, upgrade your language, and get your butt to nationals. I just put the screenshot in the chat too.
Yeah. Crazy. It's gonna be fun. So fun.
So tell us how to find someone that has a down payment. We're good at finding properties. How do you find someone that has a down payment so that you can go do
for like seller financing? So
yeah, I know we got a few people new on the call or haven't been here for a while, so
yeah. So this house I'm working on right now, I've done a handful of this method, but this was one. Let's see, I'm trying to think how many. Let's talk about like the layers of conversations. So so the buyer met through a realtor who met through another realtor, so 2 realtors, and then the seller. So let's work forwards, I guess. So I had a conversation with a gentleman who invests in real estate. He flips houses, he buys rentals, he owns houses, and sometimes he keeps them, sometimes he sells them, but he's always churning, right? And so he I'm one of those that learned early on in Renatus that people do business with people that they like. And so I just decided that I'm going to try and make friends with everyone I possibly can. Even though, like a lot of you guys know my history, that I grew up on a dairy farm, and you don't, I mean, even if you make friends with the cows, you don't talk to them the same way you talk to humans. And so it just was very, very difficult for me to make friends my entire life. I joined Renatus when I was 26. I was 26 years old when I joined Renatus, and I had a very, very hard time for that 26 years making friends, just because my own mother called me painfully shy. And so when I learned early on in Renatus that, yeah, people do business with the people they like, which means people they like, that means they're friends. Like, okay, I got to figure out how to make friends. And I will still tell you that I'm not the best at it. I don't even know if I'm good at it, but I choose to talk to people, and I have a very set number of questions that I ask everyone. And it's interesting because when you start asking people questions, they think you like them, which I'm grateful for. And then if they think you like them, then automatically they would want to reciprocate liking, and you become friends. And so some of you guys have heard the acronym, and again, I got it from Renatus. In fact, I got it from ATM class, and it was originally it was FORM, form. I dropped the M, and I just do for. So I ask questions for people. F, family, and from. Where are you from? Where do you hail? Where are you living now? Whatever. And so, um, from and family. How's the family? You got kids, wife, whatever. Tell me about the family situation. O, occupation. What are you doing? Like, you seem like a sharp gal. What are you doing for work? You seem like a sharp guy. Like, what are you doing for work? And ask and getting to know that about them. And then R, which I actually typically don't even get to when I'm talking to people, but sometimes R, recreation. Like, dude, what do you do? What do you do outside of work? What other than work, what are you most passionate about? Like, what's cooking? Like for example, talking about snow bikes with this gentleman. And that's it. Those three things, those three categories. F is from or family. O is occupation, R is recreation. I start asking people about themselves like that. And I love, like, I try to get stories out of them. Like just last night, I was working with a gentleman, or talking to a gentleman, basically spending some time with a gentleman. And we were putting tracks on a four-wheeler that I had just bought. And he loves four-wheeler tracks. And sorry, I'm trying all the snow machines right now. So anyway, so yeah, I bought a four-wheeler, put snow tracks on it, and he does this all the time. So he's here in my man cave, and we're putting tracks on my four-wheeler and just shooting the bull. And I'm asking him questions. I'm asking him about himself, and I'm asking him for stories. Like, oh my gosh, like, how did that happen? Or what, like, how did that transpire? How, what happened? And so he's just talking my ear off and just loving it. And I'm loving it too, because I love people. I love hearing stories, right? It's human nature, actually. Like I've got 4 kids, 2, 4, I guess I should say 5 kids. 5 kids, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 years old. And obviously 0-year-old is in my wife's oven. And every one of them, like, they just love hearing stories. They can't go to bed if it's funny. Even my 2-year-old, like, doesn't even speak English. My daughter, she's a little 2-year-old. If I start, like, walking her in my arms towards her crib, again, she doesn't even speak English, but she knows how to say story, 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 story. And that means story. And she's like, oh, we got to get a story in. Like, just human nature, even at young age, people love hearing stories. I think that's where they coined the phrase stories sell. facts tell. Yeah, facts tell, stories sell. It is human nature that we love hearing stories. And so I just get people telling me stories. And so just built massive rapport with this gentleman last night. Asking him about his family, and he's telling me stories about his youngest daughter is in the dating scene, and she's about to get married. And he's like, yeah, like her boyfriend just came and talked to me and had the talk, and so I started asking like, oh, how'd they meet? And he's telling me all these things and just loving it. And I'm laughing and I'm giving him all kinds of reciprocation, if you will, of like when he tells a part of the story, I'm just like, oh my gosh, no way. Loving it. And I'm enjoying myself. I'm not faking it. Like I actually legit love hearing stories. Anyway, so I know there was how do you find people with down payments? You make friends. So anyway, gentleman that owns a lot of houses, I make friends with him, and I never ever pass up an opportunity when I'm having conversations, making friends, hearing their stories. And oftentimes it's fun when they reciprocate and ask stories. And it's almost hilarious now when you catch someone and you talk to someone that you're doing that, you're asking them, FOR, family, friends, occupation, recreation, and they don't reciprocate. Like I almost laugh inside where I'm just like, this is a funny conversation. Like they are just soaking it up, telling me everything I want to know, but they don't ask anything of me. And it makes me, I can't unsee it now. It makes me literally see, it's like, I think I know why you might be in the situation that you're in, because you don't care about other people. You don't care to like, you just want to talk about how you are the best and this and that, whatever. And even the type of stories that they tell, it's all about how cool they are and stuff. And again, they don't reciprocate. They don't want to know anything about you. I just had one of those a few weeks ago, and I just had to laugh. And I still enjoyed it. To listen to his stories and whatever. And so he probably liked me because of it. In fact, this particular individual is a family member, distant family member, like my cousin's husband. And so anyway, whatever relation that is, but but yeah, it's just, I just had to laugh. But I think he likes me because every time I talk to him, it's the same story. It's like, oh, I know exactly how this conversation is going to go. And we'll see if it's any different. But no, it's the same every time. Just tell me all these different stories, because I ask, and it's almost like he's accustomed to, like, oh, I like Daine because he hears my stories, he listens to my stories, I guess, but he doesn't want to know anything about myself, which is fine. I'm not going to judge. Anyway, so gentleman that owns a lot of houses, I make a friend, and I never pass up the opportunity to talk about, again, if I have the opportunity to talk about myself and some people that I'm doing and things, stories that I'm doing. And I usually try to tell a story of somebody I'm helping, somebody I helped, that I would duplicate. And so I told the story of a gentleman that approached me and said, hey, I got your number from somebody. They said you buy houses. Will you buy my house? And I was like, yeah, I need to know a little more information, but tell me what you got going on. And he's like, oh yeah, house is, really nice little house. It's a newer condo, and I need to sell it. I want to sell it because there's a difference. Need to sell, want to sell. I want to sell it because I would like to use that money for another property. But I'm going to wait until I sell it, whatever, because he's not in trouble. There's no desperation. Like he's just, anyway, good to go. And I was like, took me like 4 seconds to say, I don't think you want to sell me your house because I don't want to offend you by telling you how much I would buy it for. And because it would probably be in, notice the language here. I don't want to offend you to tell you how much I would buy it for because it would probably be in X amount of range. I basically said, I gave him a dollar amount that if I had just blurted it out, he probably would have been offended, but delivered that very lightly, if you will. And he's like, yeah, you're right. Actually, no, he's like, no, I wouldn't sell it for that. I was like, yeah, I know. and it's interesting because when you have conversations with people and you care about those conversations, you track those conversations in your mind. You um, you judge your conversations in your mind. You decide whether you could have said this better. Anyway, when you are legitimately taking accountability on your conversations, it's funny because my wife does this all the time, where I'll be like just sitting and thinking or something like that, and she'll like stop me and be like, you're replaying one of your conversations in your head right now, aren't you? Because apparently I will replay conversations that I have with people, and I will like make the facial expressions that I was making or that they were making or something as I'm replaying the conversation in my mind. And she just watches me and she's just like, you're doing it again. You're, you're replaying a conversation that you had in your mind, aren't you? And I'm like, yes, actually, I am. Because that's how I get better. I try to replay the conversations that I have and like, could have said this or, okay, do this next time type of thing. Anyway, so sorry, we're going all over the place, but I hope this is helping. I hope this is making sense in how I find massive down payments. Like literally the house that I just bought. Oh, what'd they put down? Here, let's see. I think I've got it pulled up right here. 410. Oops. They put down $125,000 on a $339,000 house. Yeah, I'll show you guys the numbers. But let's talk about how we got it first. So, make friends. I tell this gentleman the story that I'm telling you about a guy that calls me and says, I want to sell my house. And I'm like, I don't want to offend you because I'd be like this. And he's like, yeah, you're right. And here's the point I wanted to make. It's interesting when I think this way that how do I increase the value of my conversations? How to, replay the conversation? What could I have said that got them excited about helping me with my goals as well? Because I'm legitimately trying to be a friend with them or help them, whatever. And I get this idea in this very conversation. I was like, I have an idea for how I would buy your house at your price. Would you like to hear it? Yeah, of course I would. I said, tell you what, get your realtor on the phone and let's talk to her. And we're gonna tell your realtor, check the box seller financing on your house. And you're not gonna seller finance it though. I get that. Don't think that that's where I'm going with this. You're gonna check the box seller financing. And if somebody comes along and says, I want your house on seller financing, then you're going to be like, cool. Have you met Daine? And we'll have to go through the whole 9 yards of me buying it from you and me selling it to the person who's like, hey, I want it on seller financing, please. And lo and behold, the realtor's like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, yeah. And she tells her client, like, yeah, technically there's no risk because if somebody comes along and buys it traditionally, then we just sell it traditionally. And we, I mean, not necessarily cut Daine out, but we don't need Daine. We don't need to use Daine's offer here. But if somebody's like, I'll take it, then yeah, I will buy his house at the price that he wants to sell it for. I will seller finance it to the person who wants the seller financing. Yeah, I have to have a little bit of a spread there, and so we'll work that out. But at least you get your price, and I'll pay cash for it. Like I'll close in 7 days, 5 days, whatever. We'll close fast. And anyway, so the guy's like, yeah. So, and we do it, and we sell it. And so I tell this story all the time where the seller was like, yeah, no risk. Check the box seller financing. Easy. And then if somebody's like, I'll take it, then we work it out. And so I tell that story to this gentleman. Guess what? He's in the middle of selling a house. He not exactly the same. He didn't check the box seller financing, but he had a buyer. This buyer, so here let's start talking numbers now. So he had a buyer that was going through their due diligence and trying to get their loan and he's just selling it traditionally. Last minute, the loan officer for the buyer says, sorry, can't help you. For whatever reason, taxes or something like that. Here, I'm going to put this up here so I can see you guys' faces. So last minute, the loan officer like, sorry, can't help you. And so my friend goes, dang it, but I know a guy. I know a guy named Daine Clark that he might be able to help us. He told me this story about a guy that was trying to sell the house and seller finance it, whatever. And so he knew because of his offer that they were going to put a lot of money down and to get this loan. And for whatever reason, the loan officers were like, sorry, can't help you. So now they say, Daine, I got one. Right? Famous phrase. I got one that's like the story that you shared. And so he says, Daine, I'm selling my house for $370,000. Notice that I bought it for $339,000. So he's like, I've got somebody who wants to buy my house for $370,000 on seller financing, and they have $125,000 down payment to put down. Can you help us? And I said, yes. And I tell them the only difference is, or the only thing that's got to change is that if they are buying it for $370,000, I need to buy it for 10% less than $370,000. You'll notice that this is not a 10% margin because last minute I was like, let me help you out, and I did 9%. But whatever, 9% less than what I'm selling it for. And so 339,450 times 1.09 is basically 370. Anyway, so we worked that out. Buyers like, yeah, 370 seller financing, $125,000 down payment. Let's go. I want this house. I'm sick of the lender beating me to death, whatever. Okay. And so there's how we found the down payment, a big down payment, $125,000. I don't even know what that is. 339,450. Whoops. I need to do divided by first. So 125,000 divided by, that's 36%. That's 36, almost 37% down payment on this house. It's an amazing deal. So, and it actually just appraised for 371. So I bought this house for 339 like a week ago, no, 2 weeks ago. And it just appraised for 370. So I already got a discount there. And my lease option buyer that will convert to seller financing gave me $125,000. And I did get a hard money loan. Let's see, where's my hard money loan? Right there. I got a hard money loan from myself, sure, whatever. You could go get this hard money loan from anybody. Hard money loans are actually a dime a dozen. And I know hard money lenders don't want to tell you that, but I'll tell you that right now. Hard money loan lenders are a dime a dozen. They are everywhere. And anyway, so hard money loan, 224. I put $115,000 down, which means after I pay all my closing costs, I actually got paid $7,500 to buy this house, right? At the closing table, I signed the settlement statement and it says, Daine, you're going to receive $7,500. I'm just going to use that for my refinance origination cost. And so I received $7,500 to buy the house. His first payment, let's see, what's today? 29th. His first payment is in like 3 days. When's the first? Yeah. His first payment is in 3 days from now. Because I bought the house 2 weeks ago and the first payment is, oh wait, no. I think I told him we're going to wait till March. So yeah, I'm going to let him skip February, but March is the first payment. And so here's how this is going to shake down now. So now I'm in the middle of refinancing this house. I'm going and getting a loan for $214,000. And so I will have to put some money in because remember my hard money loan was 224. But technically I could change this if I wanted to. Technically, because it appraised for 370, I could go get a loan for, let's see, 370,000 times 0.75. I could go get a loan for $277,000 on this house. I don't really want to, and I'll show you why. Because I'm after cash flow at this point in my life. But you know what? If we have time, yeah, we should have time. Let's actually run this scenario. Like, let's say that you wanted to capitalize your business and you wanted to be walking away with tons of cash in a deal like this. I'm not in that phase. I have cash just like building up and trying to deploy into more and more real estate. And so if I deploy that, then I get more cash flow because I buy the rate down or I buy the loan down or whatever. Okay, so here we are. If I go and get a $214,000 loan, and I'm actually changed that a little bit to where this says 0, but let's just roll with this for now. So yeah, $214,000 loan, which means I will have to fork out $22,000 at closing. I already received $7,500, so technically I will be out of pocket a total of $15,000. And so $15,000 out of pocket total when it's all said and done and refinanced. And they are paying me $2,038 a month plus, let's do the breakdown, taxes, insurance, and a loan service fee that makes me look like a bank. Basically, they get a monthly statement and an amortization, all that kind of stuff. And no shocker, as the bank, I basically have those same expenses. So notice that they are literally identical. They pay an extra $321 for taxes, insurance, loan service. I pay $320 for taxes, insurance, loan service. So it's basically a wash. And so my base mortgage payment, theirs is $2,038, mine is $1,496. And so my cash flow is $542 per month. I'm not a landlord. I've never even seen this house, actually, and I never will. I'll never fix the roof. I'll never fix a water heater, whatever. Like this is their house. They will fix it if it breaks. And so with my $15,000 total out of pocket, I will cash flow the 542, which let's change this to yearly. I will make $6,500 per year with $15,000 out of pocket. And so my cash on cash return on my cash flow is 42.9% cash on cash return. And so yeah, let's go ahead and let's change some scenarios here. So let's say that I wanted to just do like break even. Like let's say I was like, I want $0 in this deal. So let's increase this by, let's do like $230,000. Oops, that's 2.3 million. Save. Let's find out. Okay, yeah. So here we are, negative 197. So basically, let's call that a wash. So I basically $0 in this deal, period, after all said and done and refinanced and paying the loan officer, all that good stuff. And so I would cash flow $430 a month, which does give me an infinite return, which sure, infinite return, that's really sexy to say and whatever. But again, I'm after more cash flow. And so if I don't do that, then let's see, what did that drop? It was like $120 or $110, something like that difference. Was it 540 to 4? Yeah, 110-ish, 112. And so I'm just like, I'm just going to leave it at the 215, cash flow $550. I typically try to do a minimum of like 500 per deal, especially on a deal like this where the equity is like amazing. Because let's see, my loan to value is 62.2%. And so I've got an upside of 37.8%, where let's say that they don't pay and I have to foreclose on this house, take it back from them. I keep their $127,000 down, and my loan is only, and this is $230,000 loan that on a house that just appraised for $370. And so my upside is huge. Risk is really low. And so I'm like, $540 a month cash flow, like for that low of risk. Yeah. Okay. But here, let's do this. So let's pretend that I want to capitalize my business. I did this in the beginning. But again, like I said, I don't do this now just because we live crazy cheap for how much we make. And so the savings are just skyrocketing. Like it's not uncommon that after all expenses paid, I can put into savings another $50,000, $100,000 a month. And so buy another house, 2, 3, 4 houses a month. And because we chose, my wife and I, when we joined Renatus, I could see the dollar signs that I was like, my $20,000 a year income was going to be, again, I know we're not supposed to say the word easy. It was going to be very straightforward.
You have my permission to say easy.
Well, we do?
Yes.
Easy.
Yeah, I talked to the compliance department and they said that we can ease up on some of these restrictions that Nicole was installing
Cool.
back in the
So
day. So yeah,
just
guys,
going,
talk about
just
your
going,
income, talk about your deals. Baby, this is easy.
easy. Easy to see that I would be able to outdo my income of $20,000 a year as a roofer. Pretty easy in the real estate world. And so my wife and I made a pact. And we said, both of us said, we do not care how much money we make. We will set a monthly budget for how much we spend. And we even had to Murphy's Law proof this because it's easy to use what I call the C budget. If you put money in the account and you have a debit card attached to that account, it's easy to spend it because you see it. And so we actually have accounts that I have no debit card to, no checkbook to, no access to basically. And all the money flows into those accounts. And that's basically what we use as our savings, if you will. And once a month, in fact, I'm not even opposed to sharing dollar amounts here. Once a month, I move $3,500 over from those accounts and put it into a personal account that we can use the C budget. The $3,500 a month, if money's in that account, we can spend it. If it's not in that account, we actually had to call the bank and say, do this because banks are not out for your benefit. They're out to make fees. And so you call the bank and say, hey, I've got this checking account, has a debit card. I want you to set it up where if I run the card and there's no money in the account or not enough money in the account, don't overdraft and honor the transaction. Don't do what do they call those? Basically overdraft protection or whatever. Like, don't honor the transaction. Embarrass me at the teller where the teller says, "Oh, your card declined." Like, don't charge me the overdraft fees. Don't honor the transaction. Just decline it. And so in that account, we move $3,500 a month. It doesn't matter if I make $100, $200, $300 in a month. We spend $3,500 a month on all of our personal stuff. And when it's gone, it's gone. In fact, it is now January 29th. And my wife texts me and says, "Hey, money's gone." I was like, "Do we have food in the fridge? Do we have food in the pantry? Do you have gas in the car to get you to February 1st?" She doesn't like it when I do this, but she has to say yes. And I say, cool, let's wait till the 1st. And we'll move $3,500 over, not a penny more. And so my wife and I made a pact that it doesn't matter how much income comes in, we will spend that much money. Yeah, and we have increased it over time, but we'll try to live crazy cheap because I'm in growth mode. I want to be saving tons and tons and tons of money so that I can buy more real estate and just churn it back into and so even still, we live by that C budget. Now, yes, we do budget and say, okay, yeah, we'll put this much away for trips and stuff like that. But we have to like hit goals. Like, for example, I'll say like, oh, if this account hits this dollar amount, then every dollar past that for, the next month or whatever, we're going to blow it. We're going to take the RV and drive to Legoland and live in the RV for we just got back for living in California, Southern California for 2 weeks in the RV, right? Cost thousands of dollars, whatever. But because we said we hit the goal and every dollar past that goal of money in the bank account, we went and splurged and rewarded ourselves for reaching that goal. And so live crazy cheap compared to our income so that we can just keep dumping and dumping and dumping money into more and more real estate like this that we're looking at here. So let's see. Okay. So let's say you want to capitalize. Let's say the goal is like, oh, well, Daine, I don't have all this money coming in that I can save and buy a house every month. That's where I was. I was making 20 grand a year roofing. And even when I was selling Renatus, like I wasn't able to save enough money to buy a house every month. You know, maybe every couple months, whatever, or every year, whatever. So capitalize. $370,000. Oh, wait, we have to do some math first. So they bought this house for $370,000. They put $125,000 down. So they owe me, I have a note, if you will, of $245,000 that they owe me. Now I can't go get a mortgage for more than what they owe me. In other words, I can't go get a mortgage for more than 245. And so on the bigger down payments, like these ones are a little bit tougher to do this, but this is still going to work, I can tell. And so yeah, so I can't go get a mortgage for more than 245. Now on technically the house, I could go get a mortgage for 370 times 75%, so 0.75. So technically I could go get a mortgage for 277, but it would be unethical for me to do that, to say, hey, I'm selling you a house where you owe me 245, but I owe 277. That's unethical. And you probably get in trouble. I would hope you get in trouble. So let's just change my loan amount here to $245,000. And oh, I got news that my interest rate is actually gonna be cheaper than this. But so here, let's just do like 7.25. Whoops, 7.25. I think it's gonna be a little cheaper than that, but we'll see what it does. All right, so let's look at that. So same thing, buy it for $339, $224 hard money, $7,500 cash to me. Then I refinance and I cash out another $7,000. Let's see, is this accurate for fees? Yeah, let's just roll with that. So I'm basically $15,000 ahead on this house. Now, one extra thing that I'm not factoring into this, let's do this actually, because this is kind of fun. So their payment was $2,300. Here, let's see. Their total payment, yeah, $2,359. So notice that their first payment will be in March. My loan first payment won't be until probably, let's see, February, April. Let's say May. Yeah. So I will get March, April. So I'll get 2 payments without me even owing a payment on my own. Sometimes these fall in the month where I can get 3 payments. So let's take that dollar amount, go up here to our refinance, and let's call this monthly before. Whoops. Oh wait, I usually have a itemized refinance costs. No, here. Holding cost. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I was gonna say I thought I had this in my template. All right, before refinance payments, negative. There we go. So negative because this is not an expense, this is an income to me. So $2,300 a month during the refinance period. And so if I come back, how do we go back? There we go. Come back to there. So now it just changed that. Let's see, what was it before? Like 14 almost. So now I will basically be $19,000 richer after all said and done, refinance, purchase, basically everything settles. I'll be $19,000 richer and cash flowing $367 a month. So notice that it's less because I cashed out more, but still cash flow, still infinite return, sexy, but I'm $19,000 richer. And this is a smaller deal, yeah. I've done some where I was able to cash out $50,000 and go do more deals with that capitalization, if you will. And notice that I bought the house. So I guess I got a little bit of a discount on this one, but I've bought houses where I bought it for, let's say 370, or sorry, I bought this for 339. I've bought houses where literally the appraisal come back at 339, like literally paid retail value for this house. I'm in it 20% less or whatever than market value, which is technically better than if I flipped the dang thing. And so still market safe, if you will. but I bought it retail. So, but market safe because, or equity safe because of my client's big down payment. Anyway, so this is how you could capitalize. Now all of a sudden you got $19,000 in your bank account, more than you had before, and go do another deal. So let's say you did 2 of these. Now you got $40,000, almost $38,000 in the bank account to go do more deals. And then you do 3 and 4 and whatever. And every single time you're trying to cash out, capitalize, and go do the next deal. Or here's another idea. And you guys just stop me if you want me to stop sharing stuff. If you're like,
I have
Daine,
a
too
quick
much,
question. I have a quick
too much
question.
winning. Sorry, go ahead.
So I've got my first deal that I'm getting ready to do most of this on, but I think there's easier ways that I can do things after listening to you talk. So let me just make sure I understand. So when you buy your properties, let's say I have a house, keep numbers simple. I have a house for sale for $100,000 retail.
Mm-hmm.
You buy them, how much do you buy them for? 10% less, 1% less?
Depends. So in this case, the seller came to me and said, "Hey, I have somebody who wants to buy my house for $370,000." And I said, "Fair. I cannot buy it for $370,000 from you. I need to buy it for 10%, or in this case, 9% less than I sell to them." And he's like, "Oh, well, they won't come up. I know they won't." I said, "Well, that means you're going to have to create that spread on your end. And so instead of me buy from you for $370,000, I need to buy from you for $339,000. And so in this case, that 10% spread came from the seller. But notice in the case of the original story that I sold, the guy was like, "Yeah, I can't remember what he said, but I need to sell the house for this much money." I said, "Okay, well, if you need to sell it for that much, I need to have a buyer that's willing to pay this much, 10% more." And he was like, "Cool, that's fine. We'll shop for, he basically looks at his realtor and says, 'Hey, Miss Realtor, will you see to it that this is the only thing that we would accept?'" And so somebody came along and said, "Hey, I want it on seller financing." And they're like, "Okay, if you want seller financing, then this is the price." And so I bought it from that guy for his price. I sold it to the seller finance buyer for 10% more than that. And so we went the other way. The seller got his price, and the seller finance buyer had to do 10% more than that. And they were okay with that because they wanted seller financing.
Why wouldn't the seller just buy his house, sell his house retail versus take a hit?
In this case, he really wanted to sell it, like bad. And I said, "Well, here's how you're going to have to do it then." And so I basically said, "You have an opportunity." So I basically presented this to him, and I said, "Now you have a choice." And I'm not offended if you do it. You and I are friends. And so I don't want to offend you, but here's the opportunity that I can present to you. And so you have a choice. You can either say, "Yes, Daine, I just want this house gone. I'm willing to trade some equity for lack of headache, and let's just make this house disappear." He still made his money. And so or you can say, "You know what, Daine, I'm just going to let this contract cancel because the buyers obviously can't close. And so I'm just going to let them cancel, and I'm going to put my house back on the market. We're going to find another buyer, go through due diligence again, and hopefully the new buyer closes whenever we find them." It's a wild card. And so he was just like, "You know what? It is worth it to me to just say, Daine, just make this house go away. I want to sell this fast because I've got other deals that are getting clogged up because this house has been running through the ringer where the bank keeps extending because this, that, and then finally they say can't do it. And here we are like a month or two later, and just they've been running us through the mill." And so he accepted that. Everything is negotiable in real estate. And so he could have said no. In fact, I have been in this very situation and presented, "Hey, here's what I am able to do." And either the buyer needs to go up or you need to go down, or maybe a hybrid of both. Maybe the buyer comes up a tiny bit, or let's say the buyer goes up 5% and the seller goes down 5%. So there's my 10% spread. You know, again, that's just my criteria of what I need to do to make this worth my time. And so maybe we do that. And I'm trying to think if I know we've done something like that, but yeah, whatever, somewhere it just has to give. Buyer, seller, there just needs to be a 10% spread. But he could have said no. I just present what I can do, and then they say yes or they say no. And so he chose this and said, yep, this will help me, Daine. So let's do it. Can you close tomorrow? And I said, maybe the next day, but we'll do it. And so anyway, I think that answers your question. Where was I going with this? Oh, I think I had more ideas. So let's do this. Let's change this to back to my original. Let's see. Yeah, 214. And this is what I'll actually be going for. 214. So let's say, oh, that's right. I was going to say, what was that, 5 something before? But that's right. We're getting 7.25% interest. Anyway, so $578 a month in cash flow. $10,000 out of pocket. Oh, that's right. Because we added in the actual where I'm going to get a couple of payments. Yeah, I'm getting 2 payments basically before I have a payment that's due. And so I'll be out of pocket at the end of the day total when everything settles and payments kick in and my payments kick in, $10,000. So let's say that this is a funny deal because it's only 10. I've had deals where this number was like $30,000, $40,000. But let's just roll with this to get the principle across. So let's say I was like, I need that $10,000 for something else. Rhetorically, anybody in here want to put $10,000 to work? Actually, no, none of them are allowed to do that one to many. Let's say I'm having conversations one-to-one and I have a conversation with somebody. I'm like, hey, do you want to make like 10% interest on your money, putting it to work in real estate? Because obviously you don't like being actively involved in real estate and you don't really want to go find deals, negotiate deals, raise money, manage contractors, whatever. You don't want to be actively involved. And so you are a passive, you guys have heard my 4 boxes. Okay, passive investor. You want to sit around and twiddle your thumbs and I'll find deals like this and present them to you? Yes. Okay, make 10%. So I'm like, okay, cool. I got a deal, $10,445. Let's go to operating expenses and partner share. Let's do some math. 10,445 times 0.1 divided by 12 is $87 per month, 87.04. And so I say, all right, how about you give me $10,445? You will get, what was that, 87? 87.04. So 87.04 goes to a partner. And I need to go back in here. And let's see, refinance costs. No, and no, that's not the one. Yeah, actually, holding. Partnership. Oh, no, for some reason it's gone in my template. So let's add one here. Add partner contribution. Partner contribution. Amount 10,000. Here, I think I saved it to my, here we go. Set amount. And that's going to be a negative. Add. And perfect. So here I am, $0 out of my pocket because I have a partner who brought their $10,445 in exchange for 10% interest or 10% cash flow. ROI, monthly cash flow, going to receive $87 per month. Let's see, where's that? Operating expenses. Yeah, $87 and change per month. And so I still cash flow $491, but I am in this literally $0 at the end of the day. And so, and so as I got going, as I only needed to capitalize like once, if you're catching on, I only needed to capitalize like $50,000 one time So let's say I did 1 or 2 houses and now where I cashed out like this, and I now have $50,000 in the bank account. So I take that $50,000, I go buy a house like this, and let's see, how much was I out of pocket? Like 10. I go buy a house like this. Now I have $40,000, but a house cash flowing $587 a month or whatever it was, 500 something. And then I find a passive investor that's like, yeah, I like real estate, but I don't want to be active. I just want to sit around, twiddle my thumbs, and have deals presented to me. And I say, cool, you want 10% interest on your money? Okay. So I had 50,000. I did this deal. Now I have 40,000. I call up that investor and say, hey, 10% interest on your 10,000. They give me 10,000. Now I have 50,000. They're cash flowing 87. I'm cash flowing 491. And I'm back to 50,000. And I go buy another house and do the same thing. Let's say I go buy another house. Let's say it takes me 25. So now 50,000, I go buy a house. I'm 25,000 out of pocket. And so I have 25,000 left. And then the deal all settles and refinance and whatever. And I go find another passive investor and say, hey, 10% interest on your 25,000. Yeah, yes, please. And so then they give me 25,000. Now my $25,000 bank account's back to 50. And I go do another one. You see where I'm going with this? Like I only need to capitalize once and would buy a house, find a passive investor, buy a house, find a passive investor, find a house, and just so that capital was reused, leapfrog, deal, dozens of deals with this method. And cash flowing, I don't know, lots. Enough. More than enough. Oh, look at my rate of return. I must say that I was out of pocket like a few pennies because I've got a 7,075,335 ROI. That's a cool one. So anyway, so I hope you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. Thank you, Renatus. Can use deals to pay retail, capitalize from them one time, and then use the class private and hard money, or sorry, raising money in partnerships to use that capital, buy a house, reimburse myself, share cash flow, buy a house, reimburse myself, share cash flow, buy a house, reimburse myself, share cash flow, deal after deal after deal after deal.
One more question.
Go ahead.
So, I mean, I have a lot more questions, but I mean, so how are you are you doing mostly lease options? I mean, seller finance? Are you doing any lease options? So my question ultimately is, how are you finding the people that want to buy? Because I want to start this in the area that I am. I'm already technically doing it in the South, but how are you finding the people that want the seller finance?
Yeah. So you heard this 2 stories today where I make friends with people who I just know that they sell houses. Who else sells houses? Realtors. And so I went to realtors and told them the 2 stories that, well, actually the one that I just told is a brand new story. So I don't think this is probably the first time I've told this story on this Kern's house. But I've told that other story where I talked to the seller and like, hey, just check the box, no risk to you. And so I've done, I'm trying to think how many deals I've done with that method. Another method is talk to realtors who help buyers, right? Because this is on the seller side, helping sellers get what they want. But who else do you want to talk to? Buyers. And I typically actually don't go find buyers directly that want seller financing. I'll go talk to realtors who represent buyers. And I tell them like, hey, you're a realtor. You ever help buyers? Yeah, I help buyers. Have you ever had a buyer? Right, pay close attention to this. Have you ever had a buyer? I'm looking for stories. Like notice that the language I'm using, I am looking for stories to pop up in their mind of exactly what I'm trying to get at here. Have you ever had a buyer have a down payment, but the bank still, for lack of a better term, flipped them the bird? And you ended up having to tell your client, like, sorry, we got to fix your credit. We got to fix your taxes. We got to wait until you file your taxes. We got to wait until fill in the blank, anything. And then we can help you buy a house. Has that ever happened to you? I'm digging for stories. I'm fishing, right? Fishing for stories. Has this ever happened to you? And some realtors are like, no. Oh, okay. Well, here's a story. And so I tell a story. Or I have had realtors. Oh, in fact, let me tell you one of my favorite. I ask this type of question to a realtor. Like, hey, I'm fishing. You ever had somebody that had a down payment and the bank, for lack of a better term, flipped them? I literally say it verbatim like that. For lack of a better term, flipped them the bird. And you had to say, sorry, I can't help you buy a house right now because the bank said no. So call me in 6 months. Call me in 2 years when you file your tax return, whatever. Call me in X amount of time when you will be allowed to buy a house based on the bank's criteria. And I had this realtor like perk up, tilt the puppy dog head tilt and say, this happens to me all the time. It is so frustrating, Daine. In fact, and he tells me a story. And I listened to his story and, oh my gosh, that's terrible. And then I tell him my story. One of my stories where we helped somebody in that position buy the house. And this realtor, this was back in like 19 maybe, 2018, 2019. So a few years. And I tell him my story and he's like, how many of those could you do? He's like, I can think of 4 names that I could call right now, and we could go shop for houses if you could do that again. And notice that when I tell my stories, yes, I'm telling you guys that I've done a lot of these, but usually when I tell my story to the realtor, to the owner, the homeowner, the buyer, whatever, I usually tell the story of the one, right? Like, look at the Bible. The Bible is, in my opinion, the Bible is a sales book. The Bible says that Christ left the 99 for the one. People love to hear the story, the dramatic story like that. We're leaving the 99 for the one. And so I don't talk about the 99. I talk about the one. And I tell that story as if, man, we helped this one person, changed their life, because it's more inspiring, right? Just read the Bible and you'll be a master at sales. So, and so I tell that story like that to the realtor, and the realtor, that's actually why the realtor was like, how many of those could you do? Because I just tell him the one. He had no idea that I had done this a bunch of times. I tell him the one and he's like, dude, that realtor brought 9 buyers. That realtor represented 9 buyers. I bought the house. The realtor got 9 commissions from one person, me, made good money. And it was funny because by the 9th one, he started catching on. He's like, could I do what you're doing, Daine? I was like, you betcha you can. And now he's actually doing exactly what I do for him, with his own clients, for himself. And I was like, you know what, whatever. I helped him with the 9, made a bunch of money, got referrals, tons of referrals. And now this guy's off doing this very thing for himself. There's no secrets here. I love how Renatus is like massive mindset, like abundant mindset. It doesn't matter if I create competition, quote unquote. I made a dang good friend, made some awesome money, and helped him, where literally every time I talk to this person, he's like, hey, dude, Daine, like I did like 3 more, whatever.
How may I help you? This is a waiting room.
Amazing.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
And so there's another idea. Talk to realtors who are representing buyers. Talk to realtors who are representing sellers. Talk to sellers. Talk to loan officers. Oh, Let's see.
Yes.
I've got stories of loan officers. Yeah, just I'm trying to think of the very story. Just had one.
It's sign right here.
Yeah,
Sure.
had one where
I should have actually.
Tamara, are you
looked it
okay
up.
to mute yourself? Am I allowed to mute you? Oh, there we go. So had one where the loan officer, again, FOR, friends, family, where are you from, occupation, recreation, made a friend with a loan officer. And I get a call from a loan officer, and that loan officer is like, hey, this person sent me your name and number and said that I call you. Like, wait, who are you? Or sorry, who sent you my number? This person. I don't even know who that is. So apparently I talked to a loan officer. That loan officer talks to another loan officer. And that loan officer talks to this loan officer who calls me. I don't even know who referred them down the line somewhere because I told a story of, instead of the 99, the 1. And it inspired them where that story spread, was inspiring enough that when it came up in conversation, the story spread to another person who was spread to another person. And then that person calls me. He's like, hey, Daine, I'm a loan officer. I got somebody with a big down payment and we have to, for lack of a better term, flip them the bird. He didn't say that, but in my translation into my words, for lack of a better term, or we're basically going to have to flip them the bird. I can't help them. Will you help them? I was just like, yeah, you betcha, my friend. In fact, here, I'm gonna save you to my phone. You're my new friend. And and bought a house that way. Big down payment, seller financing, loan officers. Like basically just, you just got to think like who, like don't ask where the buyers are. Ask who talks to the buyers, who talks to lots of buyers, realtors, title agents, loan officers. I hope this is making sense. So anyway, we're like 10 minutes after the half an hour. So we got to wrap this up. Sorry, I have not been watching comments at all.
Solid gold, baby. Solid gold.
Just checking comments here. Has somebody else been watching comments? Is there anything I need to 7,000,000% on a Wednesday? Oh, that thanks, Michael. What were your seller finance terms? The buyer, it always changes. As of today, my sales pitch is whatever interest rate I can go get with an 800 FICO and 25% down. So best interest rate known to man. I'm going to add 2% to basically the best interest rate known to man. Word for word, that's how I say it. And so I just add 2%. So if I go get 7.25, I charge them 9.25. If I go get 7, I charge them 9. If I go get 8, I charge them 10. I haven't gotten an 8% yet. But yeah, it used to be that I could go get it at 3 back in like 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022 even. I could go get it at 3%. And I was charging like 7. Most of them in that year was like 7.25. And so I go get it at like 3, 3.5. And I would go charge them like 7.25. So I was making like a 4% spread. But changing times, I would rather do more deals instead of wait around and find the home runs. Because again, back in the last several years, it was harder to find that person that's like, yeah, let's do this. And so I adjusted how I work things so I could still hit a 30% minimum cash on cash return. And that landed to be, if they bring minimum of 20% down and I put 25% down and I charge them 2% above whatever my rate is, then I would cash flow 30% cash on cash all day long. And then I was only charging a 2% spread. And again, sales, I was able to say it exactly like that. Yeah, with an 800 FICO, I will put 25% down if you put 20% down, which means I'm going to buy our rate down, go get the best interest rate known to man that I can, and I will only add 2%. So thankfully, the starting point is the best interest rate known to man. And we'll do 2% above that. Sound fair enough? Like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go find a house. So anyway, looking at
Hey,
comments.
you guys just got the keys to success right there.
Oh, this is gold. Like the multi-million dollar Wealth Wednesday
Seriously.
conversation.
Started out with some storytelling and understanding the pitch and the mindset. And then where to find the people, how the numbers work, recap with the pitch. Folks, no excuses. Get your butt out there and do this. And I don't know if you noticed, but Daine doesn't like to gamble. Daine doesn't like to take risks. This
Zero.
is the lowest risk
Arbitrarily zero.
out there.
Daine doesn't buy XRP.
Daine doesn't buy XRP. He buys Bitcoin.
I even struggle with that one. Warming up to it though.
Oh, amazing.
Good
Amazing.
times.
All right, folks. Well, don't skip a Wealth Wednesday ever again, or you will be in the poorhouse, and we won't know what to do with you. No.
Do I have chickens in the yard? I do actually.
So the other
In
thing
fact-
is I put in the chat box here, if you know people who need to be getting the newsletter and the reminders from me, I'll put it in here one more time. Antoinette was asking about it, but I'll make sure it's out here. We got the team newsletter right here. We got the opt-in page right here. And let's work together to build this community, make it bigger, better than ever, and help more people do more deals, more profitably with lower risk. Grow the community. That's all. Each go make a couple sales this month. Get registered for Renatus and show up in a classy way.
100%. Okay. Love you all.
Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you
And
soon.
yes, Michael,
Thanks,
I
Daine.
actually took one of the screens out of one of the windows in the house so I can open the window, throw the table scraps out far enough that it's away from the house to give to the chickens because it's like 1 degree outside. I don't want to walk outside. Throw it out the window.
Yeah, the
Turn it into
recycling
eggs,
projects.
please.
Yeah, recycling, reduce, reuse, soil friendly, cost effective. Right? People moaning and groaning about egg prices. Get some chickens, people. Come on. A chicken is $10.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Love you all.
Awesome. Appreciate you. Take care, everyone. We'll see you.
Peace.